opinion, they're going to alienate the rest of the cruiserweights from themselves because the cruiserweights aren't going to want to make that. They're not going to want to have to cut the extra 10 pounds. So they're going to actually cost themselves money doing that. Give me a second, my son. But yeah, yo, I think they. Oh, there's our special guest. Everybody, welcome the reigning WBC Super Featherweight Champion. How you doing, man?
I am doing amazing. How are you?
Yo, look, when I seen it happen, I felt like a proud person. I was very proud because it was like it was a long time coming. I know it's something you really wanted to do for a long time, and it was exactly how you said. I thought it would be more competitive, and it was
You
quick.
thought
I
you
did.
thought
I honestly,
you
yeah.
was one of the people I wanted to be like, yeah, I told you.
I didn't say. Look, I didn't say you was gonna lose. I said I feel like it might be a draw because of the Jonas.
If it went to the decision, I could see it being a draw, definitely.
I honestly didn't expect a knockout because I thought, well, Terry's gonna box. I felt you would be aggressive, you'd look for the knockout, and what Terry's gonna do is box, stick and move, not trade punches, and we saw what happened. So how does it feel?
Deep breath, right? That's important. It feels amazing. It feels like, when people have a child, like you never forget that. It's like you'll never forget the moment of being a world champion and just the build up to having that opportunity and that dream and that goal, writing it down, um, talking to yourself, looking in the mirror, saying in the new, and it happening. I'm just like, I did it. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's man, listen, keep at it, keep going, never give up, because patience is necessary for the things that you want in life. And I'm talking about big things. I'm talking about, you want to be a world champion, you got to be patient enough to wait your turn, because again, we know I had an opportunity to fight for a world title, but that wasn't the right time, and I had to be patient enough to have the opportunity come again, but even on a bigger stage with a bigger audience, the green belt, you know what I'm saying, the belt. And listen, we here.
No, it's like fate because I know the whole backstory that like yeah, there was an opportunity for a title in the past, but it wasn't the right time, and everything fell into place. You fought Vanessa Bradford, which allowed you to shake off the cobwebs, get you sharp, get the leg working because you hadn't fought in a while, so that when the right opportunity steps up, you're gonna be ready for it. Which I literally said that right here. That it's good that Alycia fought Vanessa Bradford because she got to get those rounds in. She hadn't fought
Mm-hmm.
in like a year or something like that. So everything is just falling into place. But now that all of that is out of the way, Eddie Hearn said that they got a plan for you. They have a plan for Terry. So what they're gonna do with Terry, they're gonna get her out there against some other girl. I don't know who, 10 rounder. And what they're gonna do with you, they're gonna have you fight your mandatory. Do you know who that mandatory is?
I don't.
Mm-mm. Well, I looked at the WBC's ranks after Eddie said that, and the WBC's ranks really they don't make sense. They have Michaela Mayer as number one, right? But I know
Mm-hmm.
she can't be mandatory because she has two belts, so it can't be her. I think behind her they had the French girl, Eleme Khaled. She's actually good. She's decent. She's unbeaten. She had a fight in the last 12 months, but it only lasted a round. So that's basically saying in the last 2 years, she's literally only fought one round.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be the mandatory. Have you spoken with Eddie to get like a ballpark on when you're going to get back out there?
I have not. So I know that I will see him today or tomorrow. I came out to the fights here in New Hampshire. So purposely, I will be face to face and asking many questions to see where we are going next.
Um, behind the scenes, have you actually corresponded with Michaela? Did she actually like congratulate you? Because I know y'all rivals, but it's
Fuck
like
no. Fuck no. She can save that shit because I don't need no congratulations from her. That's fake love to me. Because if she were to congratulate me, she would have done it in a respectful way the first time. So she can save that shit. I don't need it.
one thing I want to ask is how do you evaluate Terry compared to Michaela? Because you know they are different fighters. Do you feel that the Mayer fight would go the same way as the Harper fight?
It is as in Harper and me.
No, no, you and Michaela.
Oh, would it go the same?
Hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Michaela's getting dropped. She's getting
I,
dropped. Listen. If we know and what we saw, I have power. Okay, I know how to box. I know what a jab is, and I have a great jab for one. And you can say Hamadouche was a heavy hitter. If Hamadouche had so much power, something would have shook. That fight didn't show me nothing. That shit showed me it was two pitter pats going at it, girl fight. That's what that showed me. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
And I honestly was looking for a knockout. As much as they were so clenched together, you would have thought maybe someone got a little wobble. None of that. And their faces were pretty like clean in a sense. So I'm just like, who's really hitting hard? Because there must be pillows in your gloves because y'all didn't leave with no marks. You know what I'm saying? I
I
leave
felt
marks on people's faces.
I-
I
I've
leave
seen
damage on people's faces. Believe that.
I've seen, and I think that see the thing with Maiva, the reason I think Maiva gets a lot of knockouts is two things. She has good condition, she can throw for the whole 10, and the other girls, they don't have that condition. So they succumb to exhaustion, they start getting hit, they can't take the shots. Now with Michaela and Maiva, great fight, I enjoyed it, but they're really close to each other. So there's not enough room to put something on it to really drive the punch because they so close to each other.
And so that tells me the experience that you have in the ring with somebody. I would not have fought Hamadouche like that. Absolutely not. I would have made that shit way more clear. Why would I trade punches with you if I don't have to? That's just me though. That's the experience that I have. So again, it goes back to them being so close that again there was no knockout because everything was just so close.
Hmm. I wanted to
So
ask you about the Bradford fight. When you went into the Bradford fight, was it your mindset to I need the rounds? I'm not gonna knock her out. I'm not looking for a knockout. I need the rounds before the Harper fight.
not really. I just knew I needed a fight. You know, I
Mm,
needed a fight. And so going into that fight, regardless if I got the rounds or the knockout, I had a fight under my belt after almost 2 years for being off. So of course I wanted the knockout, but again, the rounds were necessary. Obviously, everything played out the way it was supposed to. There's a reason why Vanessa stood all 8 rounds. You know what I mean? And it just shows the caliber of a fighter too, you
mm,
know, of how durable these girls are at 130. You
mm.
can have a decent record, but when you're in there with somebody who you're getting tested with, that comes down to how durable you are. You know what I mean? And Vanessa Bradford's been in there with some durable girls.
Vanessa's been in there with Michaela. Shoot, like she's been in there with a lot of people. Vanessa Bradford. Um,
Right.
Another question I have is you versus Choi a possibility? Because you know what their plan was. Their plan was if Terry beat you, she'd fight Choi. But now it's like, okay, well, the plan has changed. Where does that leave Choi? Shouldn't
Hmm.
you get to fight Choi now?
Yeah. One more thing. Do you remember in an interview we did, I said, I'm going to be the monkey wrench thrown into
Yeah.
division. I'm going to fuck it up. That's exactly what I did. I fucked it up. You got to find that shit, put that shit together because that's what happened. You know,
um,
honestly, I would like to fight Choi. I think it makes sense. I think why not unify the division like ASAP? Shit, because I want to move up to 135.
mhm.
And if we can fight Choi, I would love to fight Choi. I think that would be a great fight. I think now, since people are able to see me fight, they want to see me back in there. You know, Choi's been a reigning champ for a long time. You know, she's durable, and I think it would be a good build-up fight. We both share the same background, And shoot, why not?
Drew has a question. Alycia, will you continue to be open to fighting outside of America and live up to being a world champion? Ideal is right. I believe with the right backing, you're a crossover star in the vein of Serena and Naomi Osaka.
Yeah, no, I would love to stay fighting overseas. I think the UK is great to start. You know, the fans there are amazing. They support. I think building my brand is is what we're doing, right? So I think outside, you know, in the UK, it's perfect. I love to fight over there again. And then America would be like, hey, we need her over here. I'm like, okay, now I can come, you know?
See, you have the right because that's how I always thought it would happen for you. That you'd endear yourself to the UK fans, and then the Americans would come in afterwards and be like, "Hey, she's ours. She's supposed to be fighting over here." That's how I always imagined that it because Americans are very possessive. Like it's they don't care about you when you want to come up, but once you're doing good, oh yeah, now right now you want to jump
Right,
on board.
right.
Felipe asks, "Congrats, champ. How many fights would you like next year?"
I would like at least four, 3 to 4. For me, I like to stay busy. I don't like taking long breaks because I know the caliber of training that I do. And so all that wear and tear on your body, I want to put my body to use. I want to use all my training, you know, into a fight. So if we could fight 4 times,
Mm.
that'd be great.
Okay. Um, Rider of the Storm asks, that KO was KO of the year, male or female boxer. Behind the Beauty is a killer, huge fan. How many fights? Oh, well, we just answered that one. You just answered that one. The other question I have is, are you and your team gonna ask Eddie for Choi? Because he said mandatory, and I'm like, wait a minute, mandatory. Terry wasn't gonna fight a mandatory. Terry was gonna fight Choi.
Hmm.
So are you gonna try to urge him to make the Choi fight? Because my fear is, right, if you don't fight Choi, Michaela might fight Choi. Or
Hmm.
Natasha Jonas. She might fight Choi. Because if Choi gets left out in limbo, you never know what's gonna happen.
Right.
If you taking care of a mandatory and Terry over here fighting another girl on the rebound, that leaves Choi out there for somebody to come get her and get her belt. So are
Hmm.
you and your team, when you meet up with Eddie, you gonna tell him like, yo, give me Choi?
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna say, give me Choi. I mean, I think it just makes sense. I think if we're being honest and we're seeing the bigger picture, May Baumgardner and Mayer is the fight to make. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? It just makes sense. And shit, I'll be a UK fighter for the meantime.
Yo, nah, I
You know what I
mean, nah,
mean?
that's look, that's where the bread at. That and keeping it real, that's where the bread at, and you gotta go where the bread at. Till the bread is over here, yo, if I gotta fight over there, I gotta fight over this. Where the bread at?
Right.
AJ asks, what round do you plan to KO Mayer when you fight her, and what punch will you use?
I don't really like doing predictions because boxing is just like one of those sports where it's just like really tough. But I'm not sure. It'll definitely be. I'll give it the 7th round. Honestly, I thought Terry was going to be 6th round, but the 4th round, I'm like, damn, I got it out that quick.
Well,
So
when
you just
I saw how you came out, you popped out like two jabs, two, three jabs in the first, and I seen that one of them touched her, and her eyes kind of, I was like, yo, this is not gonna go the distance, B, because one of the jab, it popped her, and she just was kind of stuck. I was like, yo, this is not gonna go the distance. Like, she better do something, cause it's not looking good, B. How would you rate uh uh Terry versus Michaela? Who do you feel is the better fighter?
um that's a good question. I feel like both have similar styles in a sense of amateur-ish styles. I honestly think that Terry, um, just something was off about Terry that night. So, maybe she comes back stronger and, gives Mayer, a good fight. But I don't know. It's just one of those fights. I mean, probably Mayer, if I'm being
Mm.
honest. just
Mm,
because her reach is a little longer. If she utilizes the ring the right way, she
mm,
could easily win. But I can also see Terry doing the same thing. Terry had a great fight with Natasha Jonas. That was a great
yeah,
fight for her.
that's true.
And so
That's
was her last fight. So I give her credit for both those fights. And I think they were better fights than Mayer has ever gotten. Mayer wants to talk about, oh, I proved myself with this fight. She proved herself with Hamadouche, and that was about a C. So, you know,
I also want to ask, well, first let me ask this question. Drew asks, "Hey, I flew out to the UK versus AJ versus Usyk. I'll fly out for Alicia's fight. The UK boxing scene is electric. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of money over
it
there.
is. Yeah. Come on
So
out.
would you know what I mean? Like if I said you gotta go where the money at. If the money over there, that's where the money at. Could you see yourself fighting, bro? Shields is at one. Could you see yourself fighting Clarissa Shields in the future?
No. Have I thought about it? Yes, but that doesn't make sense.
That's what I was like, bro. Like she's a super, bro. She's a super featherweight, and Clarissa's up there at middleweight. It's too much. There's no middle ground when the gap is that big. Do you see yourself fighting Katie Taylor?
I do. Yeah, I see myself fighting Katie Taylor. Like I said in a previous interview, for me, in order for me to be the best I can be, I need challenges. I need someone who's gonna put up a challenge, who's gonna be a good fight, because that's the best AB you're gonna get.
Mm,
And
mm.
I think Katie Taylor is that caliber of a fighter that'd be perfect for me. And so yeah, why not? We
Well,
need those fights to build the sport. Period.
I wanted to ask you. You know what Eddie's plan is? They want to get Katie out there against Firuza Sharapova, right? They're gonna get her out there. They made the fight. Decent fighter, but I honestly believe Katie's got too much dog in her for Firuza. So I'm pretty sure she's gonna beat Firuza, even though Firuza's a good boxer. She actually is. But they want to move her into the Amanda Serrano fight after that. How do you see that fight?
Mm, I kind of see maybe Amanda kind of itching a little closer to the decision. It just depends. It could go the distance, and I feel like if it goes the distance, Katie will definitely win on points. But if it goes to like maybe again, both caliber fighters, if Amanda can use her power like she says she has against Katie and be dominant with that and maybe knock her out or give her a TKO, I think that's the only two ways I see it happening in
Yeah,
my
because
eyes.
I mean, like, I don't doubt for a second that Amanda's a power puncher. I've seen it. I would say at featherweight, she's the strongest puncher at featherweight, bar none. But she fought that Mexican girl in the last fight. That Mexican girl's a super bantamweight. And, the
Mm,
fight went the
that's true.
distance. It went the distance. So I'm like, if she goes up to 35 for Katie, I don't know about a knock. I'm just saying I don't know about a knockout because Katie knows how to survive. She knows how to clinch. If she get hurt, she know what to do. She got that experience. We got a lot of questions. All right, let me see this one. How do you stay grounded knowing that the more you win in the fashion that you do, that Hollywood and endorsements will come knocking?
I stay grounded just by doing what I've been doing, staying in the gym, staying humble, and continue working hard and allowing myself to be patient enough for those things to come.
James asks, who are some of your favorite fighters to watch?
I definitely like watching Errol Spence. I'm sorry, not Errol Spence, and Javante Davis, Canelo. The heavy hitters. Everyone likes heavy hitters.
All right. Anderson Antoine asks, I think you could be a pay-per-view level fighter. Do you think you'll be the female fighter that will open the door for female fighters like Ronda did for MMA? I actually think she's the one that's going to do it. I just want to get that on camera. I actually think you're the one that's going to open it up in America. I
Thank
just wanted
you.
to
I
say that.
appreciate that. So again, I wrote that down in my journal and I've spoken that into existence because I believe that I will be the change for women's boxing in some type of way, some form. Every woman has done that, but I also believe that I will do that. And I definitely see myself being a pay-per-view fighter. I think the fight with Mayor and me could be pay-per-view, to be honest with you, if it's billed correctly.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. It all depends on. I mean, to me, the promoters, at least the ones in America, they're a little bit lackadaisical. I feel like Eddie Hearn is the only promoter that actually promotes. That actually, like, yes, he's promoting a fight, Whereas a lot of the time in the American market, the promoters want the fight to sell itself, and it really doesn't work like that because the fans don't always know everything about the fighters. They don't know the story. So,
Exactly.
but I do think that could be a pay-per-view level fight. I honestly do. Drew asks, I said she'd open it up before you on Twitter. Bro, I've been talking about this woman for like 3-4 years, dog. You late to the party, dog. I've been talking about this. Ricky asks, what do you think about the Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter fight? How do you see that fight ending?
So I think that's a great fight for boxing, right? Sean Porter is always gives everybody a fight. So I think for me personally, this would be Terrence Crawford's test to see how he does with a fighter like Sean Porter. And Sean Porter's from Ohio, so I'm rooting for him. But again, Terrence Crawford is a dog. Like, he wants to be placed, he wants his respect. So I think this fight will solidify exactly what he wants. So we'll see. We'll have to
How do you
see.
feel about Canelo going to cruiserweight? Because everybody's all over the place with this. I personally think I've seen Lunga. I've seen Lunga. Uh, uh, that is, I mean, to me, no, that's not no dude that hit that hard is a cherry. But what do you think?
I think why the fuck not? This is boxing. This is someone who's been at the sport for so long, who's so confident in himself that if he wants to go to cruiserweight, let him. If he fails, who freaking cares? Canelo went to cruiserweight to fight. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it just depends on what you're looking at. But shit, I think a lot of people have faith in Canelo to win that as well. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I see how he can. I see how he can. Lunga's not the boxer that he is, but he's certainly. I mean, like the guy can punch though. Like that guy can punch. I've seen it. Like, yeah, that dude is. Do you feel like he's avoiding someone by fighting Lunga?
at his weight class at 68.
Yeah, because that's how it's being treated. I saw people calling the guy a cherry. I'm like, how do you, how could it be a cherry? The guy weighs 200 pounds, the guy, you know
Oh,
what I
you're
mean?
saying is he avoiding him?
Yeah, because I saw people saying that when the news
Oh.
broke. They were saying, like, oh, why is he going up the cruiser? He's scared. I'm like, bro, if like, it doesn't make sense to me, you know what I mean? 200-pound
Mm-hmm.
dude hits like a truck. This is not an easy, I wouldn't, I just don't look at it as an easy out. I believe Canelo's a good enough boxer to work around the size and work around the power, but that doesn't make it a cherry. You know what I mean?
People will say whatever.
Yeah. AJ asks, "Will you sign the Matchroom if Eddie offers you a multi-fight deal?"
Yeah, I would.
Mm,
Why
mm.
not? I feel like from the beginning he's shown his support in the sport, and I want somebody to believe in me and believe in the sport just like I do. And I think Eddie gives me that energy that he does that. And I mean, he shows with Katie Taylor. Like, look where Katie Taylor's at. So why not?
Mm, mm. Black and Brown Boxing says, "Great interview ring. Alycia is my wife's new favorite fighter." Now, see you
Awesome.
making fans all over the place. With that being said, you see the schedule of fights and how things are. What does your gut tell you? Does the mayor fight happen next year?
I would say yes.
Mm, mm.
I would say yes. I
What?
think again, if we're able to build the fight just like the men, like a men fight, and build that, it would be just as good. I mean, especially if I were to fight again prior to that fight and I have another devastating knockout like I did, like, hello, people are gonna want to see Mayor on the canvas. So why not?
Yo, this wild, B. I mean, like, yo, that to me, that would be wild, dog. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm like, I don't like lying to people. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a 50-50 fight in my eyes. That's a fight I look at it. I'm like, yo, I don't know I don't know what's gonna happen. I just don't know what's gonna happen.
The
Um,
Terry fight was 50-50 too, right?
why you got it? I
I'm
dig
just
it.
saying.
Nah, you right. No, you right. Because you told me, Mario told me, everybody told me like she's gonna knock that girl out, and y'all was right. I was wrong. Who do you see being your biggest challenge in the future?
I would say myself. I think as you continue to grow in this sport, you have to really continue staying hungry and be hungry for it. I can't lose that hunger just because I got a world title, and that's not it. Like for me, it's just like, okay, another accomplishment. What's next? So I think the biggest challenge is me making sure that I stay on top of what I need to stay on top of, and stay at the top and keep my belts, you know?
Mm. One question I have for you is I'm pretty sure you can work at 135. Is 140 a division that you would also try out at?
Yeah.
You can do 140.
I changed my lifestyle of eating so crazy that I could do 35, but I also, could do 42. So it's definitely in the works. In
Mm,
the
mm,
future, I
mm.
mean, I see.
Who do you see winning on Saturday between Kaylee Rice? I always mispronounce everybody's name. Kaylee Rice and Jessica Kamara. How do you see that fight?
I see that fight being a great fight. I know Kaylee. We got to spar together. I've gotten to see her fight against Cecilia Brækhus. So I'm rooting for Kaylee to pull out the win. But again, we know an underdog. We know someone who is hungry, someone who is given the shot to fight for a world title. Hello, that was me last week. And so I think it's going to be a great fight. So we'll just have to see. But I'm definitely rooting for my girl, Kaylee.
Do you think that it's wise for them to entertain a rematch between you and Terry? Because
Do
that's
you
what I
think
saw.
so?
I don't, but
I don't. I mean, if
I
we're being smart, like just all seriousness, you know, Terry's just not better than me. So if we were to get a rematch, I would just do more damage. That's just me personally. I would just do more damage. And again, the caliber of the fighter, the levels of the fighter, says a lot. I believe that if they were to do the rematch, I'd be very surprised, but I don't think it's necessary. I think that for Terry, I think building her career up, building her confidence back up is very important in the sport. You have to have that because she's gonna have that play on her mind for a long time. You know what I mean? And as a
Mhm.
fighter, everything is mental. And I wish her nothing but the best. And I hope that she continues in the sport. She's a great athlete for the sport of boxing. So
Do you feel that losing to Leonardo 2 made you an even better fighter?
yeah, absolutely. I knew at that moment when I lost early in my career, knowing that I wanted to take a big challenge that early, it made me realize, okay, I took a challenge, I lost, but it made me grow so much. I got my test early. I knew that. I'm like, Christina's going to be that girl that is going to be talked about the most out of my career, because look how things end up being. She ended up fighting Katie Taylor, being a world champion, you know, going on and saying that I was one of the ones that hit the hardest in the division. So that everything happened for a reason. So yeah, that fight was necessary.
I felt like there was a parallel there between you and Canelo, so to speak. Everybody talks about how Canelo was 22, 23 when he lost to Floyd, that perhaps he had to fight too early. And that was kind of how I felt when you fought Leonardo too, that you didn't have to fight her that early. A lot of other girls are fighting absolutely no one at
Right.
that stage in their career, but you chose to fight her. And from where I was sitting, it's like, you know what, that loss might be the reason that everything is kind of working out now because it can make
Absolutely.
you a better fighter.
I
Um,
agree.
uh,
I agree with that.
Nathan Kerr asks, "Hey Julius and the champ, congrats on the win." Drew
Thank you.
asks, "You talked about writing your goals in a journal. So what does a fulfilling career in boxing look like to you when you hang up the gloves? What are your interests outside of the ring and the gym?"
Again, writing in my journal is something that I do. Um, in the sport, I want to be undisputed at 130. I know that's going to happen. I would like to move up to 135. Outside the ring, I would like to have a women's gym, just all women to come work out, to be comfortable. I also want to have like a health and wellness center for people who, want to be in tune with their bodies, and just kind of, I'm all for holistic healing, and so just being in tune with yourself. So that's something that I look forward to. And again, having a nonprofit gym, helping young kids who need the help to be pushed. Growing up, we didn't have all the funds to go to national tournaments. I didn't have the most experience at national tournaments. When we did get to go, I was thankful, but we had to scrape out, money and sell, cookies and do all those fundraisers just to do that. So a kid like me who was kind of like a diamond in the rough, you would say, just in the back, has all this talent, but nobody to really push her forward. I know there's many kids out there that's the same. Like, they're working hard every day, and they know one day someone might see me and help me. So hopefully I can be that light for somebody, because I was given that light throughout my career. I had people that I met that pushed me along. So I want to give back that way.
Mm-hmm. One last thing before I let you go. I want you to give me your top 5 male pound for pound fighters, not including yourself, even though I know you would want to put yourself there. Top 5 female pound for pound fighters. Who do you rate?
I don't like doing those. I don't
You
like
really
doing
don't.
pound for pounds. It doesn't interest me, because I don't like putting people at one or twos or threes. I mean, if you were to say,
In no
who I
particular
like to
order.
see fight,
In no
huh?
particular order. No ones and fives. No particular order. 5 names that you feel is the 5 best guys. No numbers. 5 best guys. 5 best girls.
Okay, so, and again, I suck at names, people's names, but um the Japanese fighter, I think he fights at like 120. What's his name?
Inouye. Inouye.
Him, Canelo, um, Terrence Crawford, Tyson Fury, and Javante Davis.
Not a fan. Females.
Myself, Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields. Um, you got to put Amanda Serrano on there, and who else? I'm missing somebody. Hmm.
I
I'll
don't want
just
to put
look.
words in you. I didn't want to put. I think I know who you was thinking about. Was it Sinisi Estrada?
Yes.
She's nice, man. She's nice. So champ, thank you so much for your time. Very gracious. Congratulations. You got a lot more people you got to beat up next year. A lot of work to do. And just keep us posted on the news. Always welcome on the channel.
Thank you. And yes, I will be a multi division champ. Boom.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.